Hi. A trinomial contains three terms. We multiply a binomial and a trinomial in a similar way as we multiplied two binomials. Here, we multiply every term in the first bracket by every term in the second. Remember that this rule applies when multiplying two or more brackets out, regardless of the amount of terms in each bracket. An example of this could be a plus b multiplied by c plus d plus e. Let's change the colors of our brackets. To multiply a binomial and a trinomial, we start by multiplying the first term in the binomial, which in this case is a, by each term in the trinomial. So we can say a multiplied by c, and we get ac. Then we multiply a and d, and we get ad. And finally, we multiply a and e, and we get AE. Then we take the second term in the binomial, which in this case is B, and we multiply this by every term in the trinomial. So we say B multiplied by C, and we get BC. Then we multiply B and D, and we get BD. And finally, we multiply B and E, and we get B. Next, we can add like terms and establish our final answer. Let's look at some examples. Here we have 5y minus 12 multiplied by negative 2y squared minus 4y plus 11. Let's start by multiplying the first term in the first bracket, 5y, by every term in the trinomial. So we can say 5y multiplied by negative 2y squared, and we get negative 10y cubed. Then we multiply 5y by negative 4y, and we get negative 20y squared. And then we multiply 5y by 11, and we get positive 55y. Next, we need to multiply negative 12 by every term in the trinomial. Negative 12 multiplied by negative 2y squared gives us positive 24y squared. Negative 12 multiplied by negative 4y gives us positive 48y. And finally, we multiply negative 12 by 11, and we get negative 132. Now we can add like terms. So we have negative 10y cubed. So we say negative 10y cubed. Then we have negative 20y squared plus 24y squared, which leaves us with positive 4y squared. Then we have 55y plus 48y, which gives us 103y. And finally, we are left with negative 132. Let's look at another example. Negative 2y plus 2 multiplied by 7y squared minus 6y minus 8. Let's start by multiplying negative 2y by the terms in the trinomial. Negative 2y multiplied by 7y squared gives us negative 14y cubed. Negative 2y multiplied by negative 6y gives us positive 12y squared. And finally, negative 2y multiplied by negative 8 gives us positive 16y. Now we can multiply the second term, which is 2, by each term in the trinomial. 2 multiplied by 7y squared gives us positive 14y squared. 2 multiplied by negative 6y gives us negative 12y. And 2 multiplied by negative 8 gives us negative 16. Once again, we can add like terms. We have negative 14y to the power of 3. Then we have 12y squared and 14y squared, which gives us 26y squared. Then we have 16y minus 12y, which gives us positive 4y, and then minus 16. I'd quickly like to look at how we go about multiplying two trinomials. The idea is exactly the same as the previous examples that we've done. We need to multiply every term in the first bracket by every term in the second bracket. Let's start by multiplying y squared by the trinomial on the right. So we say y squared multiplied by 1, and we get y squared. Y squared multiplied by negative 4y, and we get negative 4y cubed. And then we multiply y squared by negative y squared, and we get negative y to the power of 4. Next, we need to take this 4y over here and multiply it by the three terms. So we say 4y multiplied by 1, and we get positive 4y. 4y multiplied by negative 4y gives us negative 16y squared. And then we multiply 4y by negative y squared, and we get negative 4y cubed. Finally, let's multiply negative 1 by these terms in this bracket. Negative 1 multiplied by 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 multiplied by 4y gives us positive 4y. And negative 1 multiplied by negative y squared gives us positive y squared. Now we can add like terms. It's always a good idea when adding like terms and writing your final answer to write your answers in descending order when it comes to exponents. It just makes it a little bit cleaner and also easier to make sure that you've taken into account every term. So here we have negative y to the power of 4. Let's write this over here, negative y to the power of 4. Now we have negative 4y cubed minus 4y cubed, and we get negative 8y cubed. Now let's look at our y squared terms. We have y squared minus 16y squared, which gives us negative 15y squared, plus y squared over here, which gives us negative 14y squared. Now let's do our y terms. We have 4y plus 4y, which gives us 8y. And then we have our constant of negative 1. So we say negative 1. Here we have a binomial, a trinomial, and a constant of 3. Now, when we looked at multiplying binomials, we always said expand the bracket first and then multiply your constant later. We're going to use this idea here as well. So let's write down the 3 outside of the bracket. And now we can expand the 2 that we have. A multiplied by a squared gives us a cubed. A multiplied by 3ab gives us positive 3a squared b. And a multiplied by negative b squared gives us negative ab squared. Now let's multiply negative 3b by the terms in this bracket. Negative 3b multiplied by a squared gives us negative 3a squared b. It's always good to write your variables in your term in alphabetical order. Now we have negative 3b multiplied by 3ab, and we get negative 9ab squared. And finally, we say negative 3b multiplied by b squared, and we get positive 3b cubed. Now we can multiply this big bracket by the constant of 3. So we're going to get 3a cubed plus 9a squared b minus 3ab squared minus 9a squared b minus 27ab squared plus 9b cubed. And now we can add our like terms. Let's start with 3a cubed. So we can say 3a cubed. Now we have 9a squared b minus 9a squared b. So these two will cancel. Then we have negative 3ab squared minus 27ab squared, which gives us negative 30ab squared. And then we have 9b cubed. So we say plus 9b cubed. I'd like to look at one more example. Here we have a trinomial multiplied by 2 binomials. And when you have a case like this, it's always a good idea to multiply your binomials out first. So let's write our trinomial. Negative 6y to the power of 4 plus 11y squared plus 3y. Now we can multiply the binomial out here. Here we have a y and a y, and a 4 and a 4, and the signs are the opposite. So we know that the y term will cancel. So we can say y multiplied by y, and we get y squared. 4 multiplied by negative 4 gives us negative 16. Now we have a trinomial and a binomial. Let's expand. So we can say negative 6y to the power of 4 multiplied by y squared, and we get negative 6y to the power of 6. Negative 6y to the 4 multiplied by negative 16 gives us positive 96y to the power of 4. Now let's multiply 11y squared by the binomial. 11y squared multiplied by y squared gives us positive 11y to the power of 4. 11y squared multiplied by negative 16 gives us negative 176y squared. Then we can multiply 3y by y squared, and we get positive 3y cubed. Finally, we can multiply 3y by negative 16, and we get negative 48y. Now that we've done this, we can add like terms. We have negative 6y to the power of 6, y to the power of 6. Here we have 96y to the power of 4 plus 11y to the power of 4. So we get 107y to the power of 4. And none of these are like terms over here. So we can just write them in as they are. 176y squared minus 3y cubed minus 48y. And we have completed this question. We will look at more examples like this in our upcoming videos.